Hi, I trust that you are doing very well there. Today I'm going to have to talk about something that is very worrisome. It's a trend that is happening, and it's going to have to concern Nigeria mostly, but the trend is, one thing about trend is that because no man is an island, anything that happens in one area of Africa or of the world definitely finds itself globing through and then going to other environments. So the security challenge in the sub-Sahel is actually one that is very, very, very known, and we won't be surprised to realize that the same trend will begin to happen in Ghana, in Benin Republic, even going across to Cameroon and finding itself in the Congo. What is this trend? Before then, I'm going to have to tell you a story. So one story, two stories, or even three stories. One story is a young man who got a job. He went to an interview, got a job interview, went for the job interview, was said to have been successful for the interview, and then was called to go for an induction. The induction was supposed to take place in Lagos. He made it to understand to the recruiter that he knew no one in Lagos. He had no place to stay in Lagos. They told him, well, not a problem at all, and that they were going to actually provide for him with accommodation as well as also transportation. But he was expected to show commitment by first paying for his own ticket, with the promise that on getting there he was going to be refunded. He did that, paid for his flight ticket, a return ticket. He was also told that he was given an address for an hotel. He was given an address for an hotel where he was going to have to lodge. Reaching down there, few days after, his family got a call. And what was the call about? The call was that he was in distress. It was a distress call. Guess what happened? The recruiter were actually not real recruiters. The hotel accommodation was provided was not a real hotel accommodation. These were all bogus. So imagine, you paid your transport fare to go into a den of what? Of kidnappers. So today, my name is Anselm and I'm your career breakthrough sidekick. But today we are not going to have to talk about career. We are going to have to talk about how you can actually reduce your kidnappability and then make us who is in HR reduce the risk of having to lose employees, our staff, our colleague, and also to be able to continue working well and have a family that is very happy because they are able to account for their own siblings, brothers, sisters, husbands, and wives. The threat is real. Another story is that of a young lady who was called for an interview. For her, she didn't even have the opportunity to go through all other processes. The same day she went for an interview, she got kidnapped. The next thing they found out that she was dead. The third story, and the reason why I'm telling you the third story is because you might think that, well, it's people who are actually looking for employment. No. It's actually people are being targeted using their source or their means or their search for livelihood. Here's the story of this young lady. She is a caterer, and she got a call for somebody who was chatting her up for a business deal for her to make cake. Now, somewhere in the middle of a conversation, this person asked if she could come and bake the cake in his house. Really? But she was smart enough. She knew that that move was actually a kidnapping move, and then she just wrote something out there and then moved out. The person also left out. A lot of persons are these people who are hawking, get somewhere, a call, come in and sell me in my compound. You enter the vicinity and that's the end. I watched a clip, I think it was Zikoloma also. So he did one clip of how some people went to preach and then they were told to go inside, and then not knowing that that compound was actually, there was actually a ritualist there waiting for the next person to come in. So, I mean, it's going on a preaching sermon, to preach a sermon, and then was just arrested. So that is what is happening, and it is so worrying. And today I'm going to have to share with you how you can actually reduce or mitigate the risk of your kidnappability. You see, it's so serious that even these days, I mean, broad daylight, people come to houses, open doors on broad daylight, take somebody and go away. But we pray to be safe. Now, tip number 1, always have for your watchword safety and security. Everywhere you are going, watchword safety and security. Where you are, safety and security. Going to the mosque, to the church, to the place of worship, to the market, everywhere you go, to the work, safety and security. Entering your house, safety and security. Eating, safety and security. Everywhere that you go, one thing that can actually help you in case of trouble, can give you some little percentage of safety, will be everywhere you go, try to look out for the safety routes. Plan A, plan B route, plan C route, plan D route. Find out, if I have to go this way, what happens? If I'm in this place, if anything happens, how do I escape? Let that be in your mind. It's very serious, but that's very important. Don't leave anything to chance. As you are going inside the place of worship, you say, okay, what are the exit routes? What happens if anything happens? How do I get out of here? Safety and security. Number 2, maintain a low profile. It's very important. You see, intelligence is very, 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 very important in of people knowing who you are, where you are, what you are. So try as much as possible to maintain a low profile. And one way people can access is how you dress, what you wear. So if you know you are going to the office and you have a nick for jewelry and you are going on public transport especially, as much as possible, put it in your bag. When you get to the office, put it back on. If you know that what you are wearing from top to down, it's something that is going to give an indication that you are actually a very kidnappable person, as much as possible, try to just load down. When you get to where you are going to, you wear them back on. Don't be fanciful as much as possible. That's tip number 2. Tip number 3, avoid movement during moments that are actually considered at heightening your vulnerable position. If you must travel for long distance travel, don't start before 6 and make sure you reach there not after past 7 p.m. If you can avoid late movement, don't move at night, because those are vulnerable moments. Like the story of the young man I was telling you, for example, this guy was taken from where he was comfortable and taken to where he was most vulnerable. People who they come mostly in the night. Most of the security situations happen in the night. Most of the ones that happen during the day, especially in the Abuja axis, Kaduna axis, happen at the bend, at an area where it's likely that no security persons is actually there and no persons living by there. So as much as possible, try to reduce movement during vulnerable hours. Rule number 4. Rule number 4, be accountable. Have an accountability way of life. For me, for example, when I'm leaving the office, as soon as I reach the office, I send a message that I've arrived. When I'm going back, as I'm about to leave, I send a message that I am leaving. If you find yourself in a place where probably traffic or something is actually going to have to affect your expected travel timing, send a message to somebody. Be accountable to somebody. Let people know where you are, where you've reached, what's happening. That is very, very important. I'll tell you a story. Some time ago, there was a plane crash, and the plane crash happened, and almost every person within the organization was worried because we had our staff that also traveled during that time. But our colleague has been in touch with the country director that we're communicating, and so because of that, our country director was at ease. We were at ease at the country office, and sadly enough, that Ethiopia Airline crash will still remain fresh in everyone's mind, because a lot of persons actually did lose people. So it's quite important for us to have an accountability lifestyle. Let's be accountable to someone. Let someone know where you've reached or someone where you're going to. There's nothing really to hide in this world, because one day we'll all find ourselves somewhere where all our secrets will actually be revealed. So what's the need? Point number five is that do not give yourself away. A lot of time we are actually the people that give ourselves away. Beside the expensive jewelry and the clothing that we have, you see, people usually say that culture is a total way of life. It includes the way people talk, it includes the way people dress. So you can also give yourself away. Often when I'm in public places, I'm very careful about how I talk about office things. So especially you guys who are in the banking sector, the finance sector, the NGO sector, the petroleum sector, those areas that are being conceived by people as being money-making ventures, when you are in public places or where you do not know people, try as much as possible to talk less about your office, your organization, your sector, or what happens there. Secondly, also on this same aspect, try as much as possible to reduce or to be very mindful of what you say about financial transactions. Some people, you are in the public places and they call, okay, that $1,000,000 naira, okay, yeah, I wanted to change some dollars. Really? What has that got to do with us? You are probably thinking that you are discussing business, especially you guys who are very loud and cannot even talk slowly. Or if your phone has an issue where it cannot be on a silent mode, don't discuss business matter, don't discuss money in the public. Wait until you find yourself in a place where you are comfortable, you find yourself in a place that is less public, in a place where you can conveniently talk about those things. As I remember when I was growing up, my parents used to say that you don't discuss money in the night, because someone might hear you talking about money and then they start coming around you. But that is a principle. It was funny, but now thinking about it, there are places you don't discuss money where you are vulnerable to being heard. Because not every person you see, some people are actually, those public places are spies, what do I call it? They are malwares, they are viruses. They are societal viruses, malfeasance, and they'll follow you. So as much as people try as much as possible to reduce those things. 7. God is actually good to every human being, and at a point in time we get through some moment of breakthrough. Job comes in, money comes in, testimony comes in, marriage comes in. Oh yes, of course, those are very good things, but take this advice from me. As much as possible, be very, very discerning as to how you go about your breakthroughs. Be very discerning as to how you publish your breakthroughs. Because especially the social media, we are watching. As a recruiter, we are actually spying on people. We are seeing what people are doing there. But it's not only the recruiter that actually look at what you are doing there on social media. Somebody there is monitoring you. And your stories of breakthroughs can make you kidnappable. Your testimonies in meetings, in churches, can make you a target for kidnappers. So be very, very wise. And finally, you need to put God as a source of your own protection. Because clearly everything is that except God is watching over the house, then whoever is watching over the house, the security person, is watching in vain. Except God builds a house, whoever is building the thing is building in vain. So all these are actually blocks that I've given you to help your brain to know how to do, or your hands, but above all, put God above all, because whatever the case is that we are safe, we are able to still be safe because God is keeping us in safety. So it's very important for us to know that aspect. Is very, very, very important. So I wish you the best. I trust that you are doing very well. My name is Anselm. I am your career breakthrough sidekick, and I want you to be where you are. I want you to be safe. I want you to be very, very, very kept. But one thing also that I need to add, which I did not add, which is the final one, is this: is that with these days, especially in a country where there is a lot of crisis, people are on tension security-wise between the east, the south, the southwest, and all the rest, I will kindly advise you, whenever you are traveling, do your homework. Make sure that you know who is picking you, who is not picking you, who is going to be where you are going to stay, and then be always vigilant, looking at the terrain before you travel. I do love everyone here. Thank you so much for your time. You can share these tips and these advices to any other persons there, because we need to stay together and we need to stay safe. Bye.